Police arrest 17-year-old youth in connection with the drug-related death of his teenager friend. Chief Executive John Lee says more tourism hotspots are to be created. And U.S. President Donald Trump arrives in Scotland for a 5-day visit. Good evening and welcome to TVB News. Police arrested a 17-year-old boy on Friday for his alleged connection to a drug case that led to the death of his 16-year-old friend. This is the second case of a suspected fatal drug overdose in the city in a week. Most Tonight reports.
On Thursday, a 16-year-old teenager was found unconscious at his home in Hanfa-chun. He was pronounced dead at Eastern Hospital. In his bedroom, the police found 14 grams of cannabis buds, 2 e-cigarette cartridges, 2 e-cigarette machines, and 5 millimeters of suspected liquid methamphetamine. In a press conference on Saturday, the force said the teen's cause of death will be confirmed after an autopsy, but authorities suspect that the tragedy is linked to the intake of the space oil drug. After an investigation, the police arrested another teen, the deceased 17-year-old friend. Authorities said the suspect had visited his friend and supplied him with the drugs. The suspect has a triad background. A similar incident also happened on the 20th of this month. A 17-year-old teen fainted at a Seoul Oak Estates unit in Cheongsha-wan and was certified dead at hospital. During an investigation, the police seized several drugs, including space oil, in his bedroom. The police urged parents to pay more attention to their children over the summer break and look out for any unusual behavior that may be related to drugs. A social worker said if several types of drugs are taken together, the danger will be higher. Parents should beware if their children carry the smell of chemicals. Most 9, TVB News.
Hong Kong welcomed around 24 million visitors over the course of the first half of this year, which is around an increase of 12% year-on-year. Chief Executive John Lee said in the upcoming policy address, the government will continue to create tourism hotspots to promote the city's tourism. This as the CE will attend the first regional consultation meeting on the policy address tomorrow.
The tourism industry, having long been one of the pillars of Hong Kong's economy, was highlighted by Chief Executive John Lee as he recounted a series of tourism-related policies implemented over the past year on his social media. His post mentioned the establishment of a tourism hotspot working group last year, as well as the promotion of 9 hotspots this May, featuring movie sets from the film Twilight of the Warriors walled in. In just the first half of this year, Hong Kong recorded around 24 million tourists, which is an increase of around 12% year-on-year. Overseas visitors saw an increase of 17%, while mainland visitors rose by 10%. The CE said the authorities will continue to develop more tourism hotspots in Hong Kong and promote mega events. He added that the city aims to provide high-quality tourism packages to attract tourists from all corners of the world and allowing them to create wonderful memories. This is Hong Kong Tourism Board Chairman Peter Lam said he hopes to assemble the city's landmarks, cultural events, and delicacies into new packages as part of a more dynamic promotion. He added that the Tourism Board aims to attract more large-scale conferences to the city and find ways to extend tourist duration of stay here. Meanwhile, the CE noted he will listen to the opinions of residents on the latest policy address during its first regional consultation meeting in Hung Hom on Sunday.
A couple in Tai Po was sent to hospital after they were splashed by corrosive liquid. The incident took place at Kwang Sheng House in Kwang Fuk Estate. It is believed that a stream of drainage cleaner liquid was poured down from the high-rise building and splashed onto the couple passing by. The pair's eyes, hands, feet, and necks suffered burns and they were sent to the Tai Po Nether Seoul Hospital for treatment. Police found pieces of a plastic bottle that contained drain cleaner at the site and were tracing the source of the corrosive liquid. It's still unclear whether the case was premeditated. And overseas, U.S. President Donald Trump has arrived in Scotland as he begins a 5-day trip. Dan Rao reports.
U.S. President Donald Trump landed at Glasgow's Prestwick Airport just before 8:30 p.m. local time on Friday. He'll be spending the weekend at one of his Scottish golf properties near Tunbury in South Ayrshire. He took questions on the tarmac shortly after his arrival. The U.S. president told reporters he has 2 messages for Europe: stop building windmills and curb immigration.
Well, I say 2 things to Europe. Stop the windmills. You're ruining your countries. I really mean it. It's so sad. You fly over and you see these windmills all over the place, ruining your beautiful fields and valleys and killing your birds. And if they're stuck in the ocean, ruining your oceans. Stop the windmills. And I mean, there's a couple of things I could say, but on immigration, you better get your act together, or you're not going to have Europe anymore.
Trump has spent years railing against windmills. He once unsuccessfully sued, claiming a nearby wind farm marred players' view from one of his golf courses in Scotland. Trump also highlighted what he described as the success of his administration's crackdown on US-Mexico border migration. Early next week, he'll be visiting another golf course near the city of Aberdeen, in the northeast of Scotland, where his family has one golf course and is getting ready to open a second course soon. The US president plans to meet with British Prime Minister Keir Starmer and European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen to talk trade during his trip. Commentators say using a presidential overseas trip to help show off Trump-brand golf destinations demonstrates how the US president has become increasingly comfortable intermingling his government pursuits with promoting his family's business interests. The White House has brushed off questions about potential conflicts of interest, arguing Trump's business success before he entered politics was key to his appeal with voters. Dan Rowell, TVB News.
The Trump administration's grace period for new global tariffs is set to expire in about a week. The U.S. president said he's confident about the new round of trade talks with China to be held in Sweden later this month, while indicating there was a good chance of striking an agreement with the European Union. A framework deal on trade between the U.S. and EU could be reached this weekend to end months of uncertainty, according to a Reuters report. Danny Zhou has more.
Before departing for his trip to Scotland, US President Donald Trump expressed confidence that upcoming economic and trade talks with China in Stockholm could yield success.
We have the confines of a deal with China.
Beijing's Commerce Ministry has announced the high-level Chinese delegation will again be helmed by Vice Premier He Lifeng. U.S. Treasury Chief Scott Bessent earlier said he hopes the negotiations can include discussions on extending the deadline set for steeper tariffs, along with Beijing's purchases of Russian and Iranian oil, which undercut American sanctions on those two countries. Following the signing of trade pacts with some of the U.S.'s Asian trading partners, including Indonesia, Japan, Vietnam, and the Philippines, Trump told reporters he sees an even chance of an agreement with Europe.
I would say that we have a 50-50 chance, maybe less than that, but a 50-50 chance of making a deal with the EU. And it'll be a deal where they have to buy down their tariffs, because they're right now at 30%.
The president explained negotiators from both sides were working closely. EU leaders are reportedly voicing optimism about a possible deal with Washington that would result in the 15% tariff baseline for most imports from the 27-nation bloc. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen posted on social media she would meet Trump in Scotland on Sunday to discuss transatlantic trade relations and how to keep them strong. Meanwhile, Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva stressed he remains open to dialogue as the 50% U.S. tariffs on Brazil loom. Danny Zhou, TVB News.
New flashpoints emerged as fighting on the Thai-Cambodian border extended to a third day. This as both sides sought diplomatic support, saying that it acted in self-defense and calling on the other to cease fighting and start negotiations. At least 30 people have been killed and more than 130,000 people displaced in the worst fighting between the Southeast Asian neighbors in 13 years. Darren Rao tells us more.
Tens of thousands of people sought refuge as border fighting between Thailand and Cambodia entered its third day. The latest incidents took place in the Thai coastal province of Trat and Cambodia's Pusat province, a new front more than 100 kilometers from other conflict points along the contested border. The two countries have faced off since the killing of a Cambodian soldier late in May during a brief skirmish. The crisis has brought Thailand's fragile coalition government to the brink of collapse. The UN Security Council held an emergency meeting behind closed doors late on Friday in New York. The council did not issue a statement, but council diplomats said all 15 members called on the parties to de-escalate, show restraint, and resolve the dispute peacefully. The diplomat, speaking on condition of anonymity, said the council also urged the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN, to help resolve the border fighting. Cambodia's UN ambassador Che Kyo told reporters his country, which called for the emergency meeting, asked for immediate ceasefires unconditionally and for the peaceful solution to the dispute. He responded to accusations Cambodia attacked Thailand by asking how a small country with no air force could attack a much larger country with an army 3 times its size. Thailand's foreign minister called on Cambodia to cease fighting and negotiate an end to the hostilities on the border. Maris Sangiampongsa called Cambodia's actions violations of basic morality and common humanity. He went on to reiterate Thailand's commitment to resolving the conflict peacefully. The minister also addressed a Malaysian approach to broker a ceasefire, which he said he agreed with in principle. Thailand and Cambodia have bickered for decades over jurisdiction of various undemarcated points along their 817-kilometre land border. Ownership of the ancient Hindu temples Tamon Tom and the 11th century Preah Vihear is central to the disputes. Dan Roll, TV News.
Still ahead. Donald Trump says Emmanuel Macron's plan to recognize the Palestinian state doesn't carry any weight. And fans must wait 2 hours before they can enter an animation and comic event. And Disneyland donates $5 million to support youth and young patients as part of its 20th anniversary events. Welcome back. U.S. President Donald Trump has downplayed France's plan to recognize Palestine as a state. France is the first major Western power to take such a stance, which has angered Israel and some Jewish groups. Nazvi Karim with details.
Before he left for Scotland, U.S. President Donald Trump spoke to reporters about French President Emmanuel Macron's decision to recognize Palestine.
Look, he's a different kind of a guy. He's okay. He's a team player, pretty much. But here's the good news. What he says doesn't matter. It's not going to change it. Well, he made a statement, France, Macron. His statement doesn't carry any weight. He's a very good guy. I like him, but that statement doesn't carry weight.
The leaders of Britain and Germany both support a Palestinian state in principle. However, British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, despite political pressure from some of his own lawmakers, and German Chancellor Friedrich Merz have no immediate plans to follow Macron's lead. In France, reaction was mixed. Jonathan Arfi, president of the Representative Council of Jewish Institutions of France, said they regret Macron's announcement because it's not conditional on the release of Israeli hostages held in Gaza by Hamas. This Paris resident described the decision as shameful and a disgrace. Some felt it was a positive move.
I think when we see what's happening in Gaza, right, I think it will put some pressure. I mean, maybe I think it's good to recognize, the Palestinian states, right? I mean, maybe the US should do the same, right? I mean, that's maybe a good idea also, right? But I think, it's good that Macron of France, is starting that process, right? I think it's good.
Nazvi Karim, TVB News.
The United Nations and experts say that Palestinians in Gaza are at risk of famine, with reports of increasing numbers of people dying from causes related to malnutrition. Israel says hundreds of truckloads of aid are waiting at the border and blames the UN for not doing enough to distribute the supplies. Nasfi Karim again.
2-year-old Yazan Abu Ful's ribs protrude from his emaciated body. His mother and his father also showing signs of extreme hunger. Nothing to eat or drink and supplies are either expensive or absent. What is his fault, asked his father Mahmoud. Did this boy carry a rocket and go fight the Israelis? 5 deaths related to starvation have been recorded so far in July at this Center for Malnourished Children in Gaza City. Malnutrition is growing by the day across Gaza. It is very catastrophic in Gaza, from bad to worse, said Dr. Rana Sobo, a nutritionist with US-based aid organization Med Global. We are not done with July, and we have already had 5 deaths, she said. The United Nations says the situation is catastrophic and worsening. Palestinians seeking aid at Gaza Humanitarian Foundation supply stations are still being killed, while thousands of UN trucks are waiting at crossings.
Our teams are in place to ramp up delivery as soon as we are allowed to do so. As you will recall, during the last ceasefire, tens of thousands of truckloads entered Gaza, with food aid reaching nearly every single person in the Strip. What is missing right now is safe, sustained access. Aid workers face constant danger. Crossings are unreliable and critical items are routinely blocked. If Israel opens the crossings, lets fuel and equipment in, and allows humanitarian staff to operate safely, we will accelerate the delivery of food aid.
On Friday, French President Emmanuel Macron, British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, and German Chancellor Friedrich Merz issued a joint statement demanding Israel allow unrestricted aid into Gaza to end a humanitarian catastrophe. Meanwhile, at Khan Yunis in the south, funerals were held for Palestinians killed while trying to claim aid from trucks, as well as victims of Israeli airstrikes. This distraught family member of a 17-year-old who was killed near an aid truck said, "He went to get a bag of flour. He was martyred because of a bag of flour." Nazri Karim, TVB News.
Kodak Sports Park is hosting a football match between Liverpool and AC Milan tonight, and will also stage the match between Arsenal and Tottenham Hotspur next Thursday. The MTR will increase the frequency of two-mile line trains before and after the matches. The MTR estimates that Katak Station and Exit D of Sungwon Choi Station will be very busy. The MTR will strengthen broadcasting and deploy more staff to assist with the flow of passengers. After the matches, the frequency of two-mile line will be increased to one train every 2 to 3 minutes. MTR passengers can go to Taiwai Station on the two-mile line and then transfer to the East Rail line to Lowell Port. The Lowell Port will operate until midnight. Residents had to wait for some 2 hours before entering the Anycom and Games event today. The 5-day gala also attracted scores of mainland visitors who made their way to the city for a one-day shopping spree, with many drawn to the international environment.
No early entry even for doppelgangers of comic fans' favorite heroes, as crowds lined up in long queues under the sweltering conditions for this year's Anycom Games outside the Convention and Exhibition Center. With the very hot weather warning being in effect at around 3 p.m. today, queues for the anime gala stretch all the way to a nearby hotel, while waiting times extended to 2 or 3 hours. Still, the ordeal did little to affect fans' determination to enter their annual paradise. This woman said organizers should install fans throughout the queue to prevent visitors from suffering from heat stroke. Making it past the blistering heat, comic and animation fans celebrated by dressing up as their beloved characters, while some preferred to shed a few layers. This man said the weather is simply unbearable and that this is the perfect outfit. This year's event gathered scores of mainland fans who hope to go on a shopping spree during the weekend. This mainland visitor said the products here are far more diverse than what's available in anime conventions in Shenzhen and preferred the overall atmosphere in Hong Kong. While this woman said Hong Kong's comics conventions tend to be more international, combining elements from beyond Asia, such as Italy, France, and other Western countries. Meanwhile, this year's Anycom Games is spread across 3 floors at the Convention and Exhibition Center, with some exhibitors on the first floor raising concern about the dilution of business and people flow.
Hong Kong Disneyland has donated $5 million to support child patients and youth development in the city. More than $2.5 million are allocated to a public hospital-focused project. A celebration event was held today to mark the launch of the project. Most 9 reports.
Not Disneyland, but the Pediatrics and Adolescent Medicine Specialist Outpatient Clinic at Two Mun Hospital. This joyful occasion is the launch of a project marking Disneyland's 20th anniversary, transforming certain areas of 8 public hospitals by incorporating elements of the theme park, using a fund of more than $2.5 million. At Two Mun Hospital, the renovation includes Disney-themed wall paintings that feature well-known characters and a mobile theater. Ji Hyun, an 11-year-old patient, said she is now more relaxed at the outpatient clinic because of the paintings, which display her favorite Disney character, Joy from Inside Out. A doctor said the renovated clinic can motivate children and staff members.
My patient came in and told me, although she is worrying her illness, but she finds her good friend Elsa is here. She told me Elsa is very strong. I will like Elsa. so that I don't afraid of my illness. I will be strong. Our doctor will be happy. Our patient happy, the children happy, we will be happy. But more than that, actually our doctor, our nurses, our medical staff also can enjoy this very happy environment.
The essence is that we want to make the stress level of the kids here coming to do their, all the treatment lower.
Meanwhile, Disney says the renovation work at remaining public hospitals will be carried out phase by phase. Memos 9, TVB News.
And that's the news. Thanks for watching.